Okay, guys, so today I want to take a quick look at this Super Nintendo Mini clone system. This is from 1UP Retro. Link will be in the description if you want to pick this bad boy up. But taking a look at her, we got our system. Pretty sweet, clean looking. We also get our AV cables, which also have S-video, which is a huge plus. And then we do get our power supply. The power supply can be used in the UK or in the US. You just remove this, and she does come supplied with the US plug. You'd go ahead and undo that and plug her in to the side. Very similar to like a PS Vita charger. So we have that, very nice. And then we also do get two controllers. So the controllers have the Super Famicom style colors, which I prefer. I like them over the light purple and purple. But taking a look at the controller, form factor is the same. Everything's feeling all right. You know, the buttons feel good. The D-pad feels okay. You know, can't really tell without actually trying a game out. So we'll check that out in a moment. And the ports here, they're not too tight or loose. I've had clone systems where the port just, you plug the controller in and it just slides right out. It's not the case with this. Then on the bottom we do have our switch, which is for PAL or US, which is pretty awesome that they included that. So now taking a look at this guy side by side with an original, real, authentic Super Nintendo Mini, the version 2. These things are nearly identical. The coloring's a little different. You know, maybe my Super Nintendo might have aged a little bit. I don't know, but they both have very similar color and the molding is identical. And the weight. Surprisingly enough, both of these weigh pretty much exactly the same, which I find crazy. And the controllers, you know, they both seem about the same size. Same layout. Quality, like I said, we have to test that controller out to find the true quality. But with that said, let's go ahead and test a couple of these games out and see how they perform, how they look, how they sound, all that good stuff. So let's get this party started. Okay, so the first game we're going to check out is Hagane. And to be honest, I'm just blown away by how well this looks. Running this through S-video, through a HDMI video converter, and my results are just amazing in my opinion. The games that I've ran on here, oh my god, it just looks really good. But the ultimate test is gonna also have to include using the controller. So right now, the controller doesn't feel bad. It's responsive. The only thing I'm getting is a little bit of stiffness on the D-pad, but I think within time that'll loosen up a little bit. But really, it's not bad at all. It feels really good. Can't complain. We can use original Super Nintendo controllers on the system as well, or third-party Super Nintendo controllers, whatever you have access to, or whatever you like. I prefer original controllers. That's just me. I mean, pretty sure most people prefer original controllers when it comes to retro consoles. But this controller definitely is not bad. It does feel like my D-pad needs to loosen up a little bit. The buttons are fine though. I'm not really getting any stiffness with the buttons. But let's go ahead and check out another game real quick. So here we go. Final Fantasy II, one of my all-time favorite games. So far, everything's looking great. The colors look good. The sound is excellent, in my opinion. I'm having no issues with the sounds. Everything's looking good. So this system, for me, is a must-buy if you're looking for a retro console and you cannot find one at a good price, and you're looking for a Super Nintendo specifically, obviously. But this bad boy will play anything you throw at it, just like the original Super Nintendo would. This will play your EverDrive, your multi-carts, your repros, your PAL cartridges, your Japanese cartridges. This will play everything, and I think that's awesome for a clone console. This is essentially a one-to-one Super Nintendo version 2 or mini, whatever you want to call it, that came out back in the day. This was the second version of the Super Nintendo, and that's what they modeled this exactly off of. It's pretty much one-to-one. It runs great, feels great, the colors look good, supports pretty much, from what I've seen, the entire library of Super Nintendo games. And that amazes me, because you're going to spend, if you want the original, you're going to spend quite a bit of money for a clean version of it. Now, a lot of people didn't take care of their systems. It is what it is. Or a lot of people just threw them in the garage or in the attic or something that's full of dust. You know, so it's kind of getting rarer and harder to get a really good, clean retro console. And if you do find one, there's always going to be a little bit of a higher charge. So that's unfortunate. For the price of this, you're paying less than $50 and you're getting 2 controllers. At this moment, I'm just going to say I highly recommend it. I'm really happy with this console. I do have the original version and, you know, like I showed in the video, the original version of this that this is copied off of. So I already have 2 Super Nintendos, but this is nice if you don't have one and you want to get into collecting or playing some of your retro games, and you want to stick to the original stuff or homebrews or repros, any of that. It's going to run it and run it well. I've had no issue whatsoever with this system. Like I said, my only con, and it's not that big of a deal, is the D-pad is a little stiff, just a little bit, but I feel that's something that's gonna give after using it for a while. But like I said earlier, you can also use your original controllers, so it's not a huge deal breaker for me. But if you guys are interested in this system, or even the HDMI converter that I am using, which the HDMI converter, I'm going to do another separate review on this, because I'm astonished by the results I get, especially on my Nintendo 64. So I'm going to do a separate review of that, but I will have a link to that in the description. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're into retro systems, this HDMI converter, it's a must-have. It's a must-have. So take a look at that. The link will be in the description for this system as well, from 1UP Retro. So peep it out. Smash that like button if you could. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And I will catch you guys next time. Boom!